JP's and benedictions. 3, 2, 1. Let's go in. So, what's that lady? Ketanji Brown Jackson. You know, they swearing her. I guess they swearing her in, or they starting the third degree today. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that on that same day that Clarence Thomas is hospitalized. You know what I'm saying? So let's get right into it.
Intravenous antibiotics. The court saying he's court Justice Clarence Thomas hospitalized. The court saying he was admitted to a DC area hospital Friday evening after experiencing flu-like symptoms. He underwent tests, was diagnosed with an infection, and is being treated with intravenous antibiotics. The court saying he's expected to be released from the hospital in a day or two. At 73, Thomas is the second oldest justice and the most senior conservative. He doesn't have any known health issues and is both vaccinated and boosted for COVID, according to the court. The news about Thomas's health comes as a confirmation hearing kicks off today for a judge looking to join him on the Supreme Court. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black woman nominated in the court's 233-year history, set to address U.S. senators.
My life has been blessed beyond measure, and I do know that one can only come this far by faith.
Since her nomination, the 51-year-old Harvard graduate has sat down with a bipartisan list of more than 40 senators. She's also held mock sessions with the White House ahead of today's.
I'm snatching that John out of there. I don't know what's wrong with that John. Sound like it's chopping up, but you get the point. It's not a coincidence that at 73, these people, these Thelemites, they play with these numbers, the 3 7s, the lucky 777, when you go to hit the jackpot and all that, it's not a coincidence that, he has flu-like symptoms, but they say he ain't got the blovid. They ain't saying he got the blovid, but he got some type of flu-like symptoms. But you heard they said they treating him with some, did they say monoclonal antibodies or something? Something crazy that they treat him with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, you gotta think like, man, like, all right, well, what the fuck did he get? What, he got some new shit? You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is crazy. And of course, these people, they talking they shit all the time, same shit. You know what I mean?
History will be made in Washington in just a few hours. Confirmation hearings begin today for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who grew up right here in South Florida. She's the first black woman nominated to the Supreme Court.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and many other Republicans are not saying how they will vote. All of this, as right now, the current justice is waking up in the hospital.
Supreme
Court Justice
Clarence Thomas
hospitalized.
The court saying he
was admitted to a D.C. area hospital Friday evening. After experiencing flu-like symptoms, he underwent tests, was diagnosed with an infection, and is being treated with intravenous antibiotics.
The court saying he is expected to be released from the hospital in a day or two.
At 73, Thomas is the second oldest justice and the most senior conservative. He doesn't have any known health issues and is both vaccinated and boosted for COVID. That's according to the court. The news about Thomas's health, Thomas's confirmation hearings kick off today for a judge looking to join him on the Supreme Court. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black woman nominated in the court's 233-year history, set to address U.S. senators.
My life has been blessed beyond measure, and I do know that one can only come this far. By faith.
Since her nomination, the 51-year-old Harvard graduate has sat down with a bipartisan list of more than 40 senators. She's also held mock sessions with the White House ahead of today's open remarks.
Judge Jackson has been scrutinized more than any person I can think of. This is her fourth time before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And three previous times she came through with flying colors and bipartisan support.
Still on this, top Republicans are on the fence.
I haven't made a final decision as to how I'm going to vote.
And what could become a contentious week of hearings? Republican Senator Josh Hawley suggested in tweets that Jackson has a long record of letting child porn offenders off the hook. The White House responded.
Far-right Republican senators, as you noted, have launched a last-ditch eve of hearing desperation attack on her record.
Wow.
Well, Democrats don't actually need Republican support to push Judge Jackson through. But the White House says they want GOP support to shore up the court's credibility. We'll bring you live coverage of that hearing later today.
That's crazy. Right. That's crazy. So they started the hearing shit today. You know what I'm saying? So she said that, none of that shit was possible without faith. You know what I mean? Now, the crazy shit about this shit is that, she said none of it was possible without her crackling husband, Patrick Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So I think she talking about having faith in the crackling. You know what I'm saying? She got faith in the crackling. So that's what she's talking about, But it's crazy. It's like, she got the same. Now, the first justice, the first black woman to be a justice was Constance Baker Motley. They got the same birthday. You think that's a coincidence? You know what I'm saying? And today, she started speaking today at 3:22. That's when she first came on the John to start speaking, right? Now, they talked about it being 233 years of judges. You know what I'm saying? So you see how they play with these numbers? You know what I'm saying? And she gave praise to what's the dude's name? Justice Breyer, and the other three people that she worked for. That's all cracklings. You know what I'm saying? So she was praising the cracklings the whole time, and then she said she got to have faith. And of course, we know that translates to having faith in a crackling, a mythical crackling that walk on water. But you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And she said her name equals lovely one. You know what I'm saying? That's what her name means. You know what I mean? But she said it's African for lovely one. But what does that mean? Is it Swahili? What is it? You know what I mean? I don't know. So we had to look further into that. And her brother is a cop and a Vietnam vet. No, an Iraq vet, you know what I'm saying? So, they all into this, patriot shit, you know what I mean? But, that's another story, you know what I mean? So we got a couple things to go over in over here, you know what I mean? I wanted to touch on this earthquake shit that happened. What else happened? The airplane shit, you know what I'm saying? I want to touch on that shit, and I'm gonna do some throwback shit, because your man Joe Biden, that's some time, let's go back in time. Let's remember this clip right here.
But you, on the other hand, Sent your son
over there.
You're selling access to the president,
just like he was.
Started over.
Has been messing around in
Ukraine over there.
But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there. You're selling access to the president,
just like he was.
So
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that? No? You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
Yeah, so see how he turned up on him, and he said he was lying, right? So, of course, Hunter Biden is back in the news. This laptop from hell is becoming to be an issue. So how do we explain, these news articles that we got, these news clips that's coming out? You know what I mean? How do we explain it?
This grand jury's been
meeting since 2018. They were
suspended during COVID.
Welcome back. We're back with Peter Schweitzer, the president of the Government Accountability Institute, as we talk about all of the alleged money and deals that Hunter Biden did with officials across the world, particularly in China, Russia, and Ukraine. Peter was showing the business deals that includes a $3.5 million check from the former mayor of Moscow's wife. Give us your take on the FBI and the Department of Justice's investigation right now into all of this. Is the FBI investigating Hunter Biden, and could that happen while Joe Biden is president?
Yeah, in fact, I think this New York Times piece, the fact that they got cooperation from Team Biden and probably from the Hunter Biden legal team is an indication to me they are extremely concerned that he is going to be indicted. This grand jury's been meeting since 2018. They were suspended during COVID because of healthcare protocols. It's back up and running, and it's very clear that when it comes to the issues related to tax evasion and money laundering and the other issues wrapped up with it, they're extremely concerned that Hunter Biden's going to be indicted. And I think this article is an effort to frame that conversation in a way that can be the most favorable to them.
Like Madam Secretary.
So in other words, while they were trying to impeach Donald Trump, the FBI knew all of this existed. They knew about the laptop, and they didn't say anything while Trump was accused of doing deals or having a bad phone call with the Ukraine president.
I'm not even trying to run.
Yes, that's exactly right, Maria.
I'm not even trying to run all through the shit that's on this laptop, because I don't want to be. See, we live in a world where things can be easily faked. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know if this shit Photoshop or what have you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not just gonna run and be fast and loose with these stories and shit until they can be checked out. I seen a couple images, a lot of crazy images on this laptop, man. But again, I seen a lot of people put them Jones out, but you know what I mean? They moving into a different ball game now, like, where people could like sue you for wild shit, like, for fake news and shit like that. So, I seen some shit on there, it looks questionable, it looks crazy, but hey, until it's 100% confirmed to what it is, then I'ma just keep it off the wax, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get caught up in no fake shit, you know what I mean? But man, some real questionable shit on that motherfucker, man. But let's finish this little video real quick. That's probably gonna knock me out. All right.
They knew it
all the time, and that deserves investigation as well.
Peter, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks very much, Peter Schweitzer. That'll do it for us on Sunday.
Water. So what's up, man? What's up with your man? Like, what's up with your man? Joe Biden us some time. You know, this should remind me of that show, Madam Secretary. You know, I got some sauce coming on that shit too. You know, I just had to do my my bootleg situation, but you know that's coming. You know, the loophole is copyright shit and all that. You know how it go. You know what I mean? But you know, it's a lot of predicated malevolence. You know, laying around. You know, that I'm just picking up and letting you see it. You know what I mean? But reminds me of the storyline from Madam Secretary, where the president's son got a drug habit and he's wild and crazy. You know, that story came out in 2014. But I digress on that. You know what I mean? So a lot of crazy shit going on in the news. You know, they said in Philly here that a man, they said one man was walking down the highway, right? And two troopers stopped him and attempted to arrest him. And then a drunk driver came down and hit all three of them. God damn. You know what I'm saying? And this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is really crazy that, you know, this shit happened. And, you know, you got the cops, they protesting. Well, not, I guess they're not protesting. They're mourning the loss of their officer or one of their friends, you know, and all that. You know, they up and down the street, you know. But, you know, it's a crazy situation, man. You know what I mean? But this story broke at the story broke at 12:30. You know what I'm saying? So they say around 12:30 that that this incident happened on I-95. You know what I mean? So I want to just dig into that a little bit. You know what I mean? Hold on one second. Let's pull up this video clip real quick. Which one is it? I think it is this one here.
Live on CBS News Philly. Pennsylvania state police are grieving the loss of two of their own this afternoon. Officers lining the Philadelphia streets during a procession this morning. That deadly crash happening just after 12:30 on I-95 South between the Packer Avenue and Broad Street exits right near the stadium. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Petrilla joining us now from West Philadelphia, where we just heard from state police officials and the governor. Matt.
That's right. Moments ago, we learned a DUI investigation is underway in connection to this crash, and it is a very somber day for state police here outside of the Troop barracks. You can see that the state flag is now flying at half staff in honor of the two troopers who were killed. Now, the state police commissioner and governor spoke at a news conference here, confirming the names of those fallen law enforcement officers. They are Trooper Martin Mack. He was enlisted since 2014, and Trooper Brandon Siska, who was recently graduated. Authorities say they were responding to a report of a man walking in the southbound lanes of I-95 near the sports complex just before 1 o'clock this morning. The troopers were getting that person into their car when a driver traveling at a high rate of speed, police say, crashed into all three of them. The impact was so great it threw the troopers' bodies. Chopper 3 was over the scene. They found car parts on the highway earlier today, just before 6 this morning. A police honor guard procession was seen leaving the crash site. Dozens of police vehicles escorting the officers' bodies to the medical examiner's office in Spring Garden. Here at Troop K, we heard from the governor and the state police commissioner. Take a listen.
PSP will continue to carry out our duty to serve and protect the citizens and visitors of Pennsylvania. We will do this while holding the memory of these troopers and all of the others who made the ultimate sacrifice near to us. This is a very sad day for Pennsylvania. There are three families mourning the loss of loved ones. There are friends mourning those losses. Colleagues, all of us. It's a reminder for the state troopers of what a heroic thing that they do for us each and every day. They lay their lives on the line for all of us every day.
Again, two state police troopers and a civilian all killed in that crash. Police not yet revealing the name of that third person. They also told us that the driver involved stayed on scene. No word on possible charges, but again, a DUI investigation is now underway. Reporting live in West Philadelphia, Matt Petrillo, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Certainly a difficult day for local law enforcement. Matt, thank you for that report. And we want you to stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the tragedy on I-95 as soon as we get more information.
So they said that the bodies flew on the other side of the dividers. You know, crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I want to go into some gematria shit. You know what I mean? Look behind the veil. You know what I mean? Where my slide at? Hold up. So these two dudes right here, right? You got Martin Mack the third, right? And like MM, like Master Mason, right? And he was 33. So we know from previous videos that in gematria, police equals 33. You know what I mean? It's not a coincidence there, you know. So and this was the young boy that he was bringing on. So he had just became a trooper. So he really wasn't a trooper per se. You know what I'm saying? So like it's just like the justice, you know, the judges. You know, when they become a judge, they carry the name Justice and then their name. So troopers are the same way. You know, when a trooper becomes a trooper, it's Trooper Mark Martin. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he's the senior officer here. So he had been recognized as a trooper for a minute. And, you know, they bring him on with the young boy who is, you know, just crossing and not necessarily known as a trooper, but technically a trooper. You know what I'm saying? So, oh shit. So, you know, that's where the nameplate come in. You know what I mean? So, oh, wait a minute. So your man Brandon, what's his name? Brandon T. Czak, or whatever his name is, equal his name in gematria equals 1, 2, 3, and of course this happened on March 21st. You know what I mean? You know, 3, 2, 1. You know what I mean? So you see, Martin F. Martin equals 333. You know what I'm saying? You know, Master Mason shit. You know what I mean? And 67. You see how they kept saying that he was they sacrifice. You know, 67 equals blood sacrifice. You know what I mean? So now we get to where the distinction comes in from earlier. See, Trooper Martin F. Mack III equals 231. You know what I'm saying? Now remember I said he's more recognized as a trooper than the rookie who's just coming on, who is technically still green. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. This is how they do their shit. You know what I mean? They it's not a coincidence that these numbers match up yet again, and they keep playing with these same numbers. You know what I mean? So they said we had now I'm gonna double back to this earthquake shit that happened a couple days ago. You know what I mean? And run through some of that shit real quick, and then I'm gonna lead into the plane crash shit. You know what I mean? And I want to touch on this wildfire shit too. So all right, where my earthquake video at? Is it? That ain't it. Hold up 1 second, brothers. I gotta take this video off. All right, because I played that already. Because you only can have 8 at a time. So let me get my earthquake video real quick. Boom. All right, this is the earthquake shit that happened the other day, right? On 16th. Now, they said that let me just give a little backstory about geographically. Cut that off. Geographically, Japan sits on the Ring of Fire in the Pacific Rim. You know what I mean? So that's what that area is basically called. The Ring of Fire, the Omega at the Pacific Rim. So this is where Japan is located. And they said that this M7.3 earthquake struck Fukushima, Japan. And the story broke at 10:36 our time. You know what I mean? They said it was a 6.63.1 earthquake, and of course we know in gematria the 0 is silent per se. So you see they playing with the same numbers. You know what I mean? And they will continue to do so because Ring of Fire equals 163. Earthquake equals 163, of course. And where they recorded the earthquake was at Niamey, Japan. I probably botched that name, but Niamey, Japan equals 136. You know what I mean? And of course, story broke at 10:36. You know what I mean? So which brings me to this plane crash situation that just happened in Japan. You know what I mean?
A China Eastern Airlines Boeing 737 to 800 with 132 people on board crashed in mountains in.
Pause. Now you see how it's a 330 a 737. You know what I mean? Plane that crashed. Now we got Clarence Thomas in the hospital who's 73. We had the M7.3 earthquake from a couple days ago that was in Japan, and now we got a 737 plane crashing in Japan. Not a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Not a coincidence at all.
And caused a fire. China Eastern Boeing 737 jet crashes with more than 130 on board. A China Eastern Airlines Boeing 737 to 800 with 132 people on board crashed in mountains in southern China on a domestic flight Monday following a sudden descent from cruising altitude. Media said there was no sign of survivors, and the airline said it deeply mourned the passengers and crew who had died. The plane was flying from the southwestern city of
capital of Yunnan province, China Eastern said the cause of the crash, in which the plane descended at a final rate of 31,000 feet, a minute according to flight tracking website Flight Radar 24, was under investigation. The airline said it has provided a hotline for relatives of those on board and sent a working group to the site. Media cited a rescue official as saying the plane had disintegrated and caused a fire destroying bamboo trees. The People's Daily quoted a provincial firefighting department official as saying there was no sign of life among the debris. The aircraft, with 123 passengers and 9 crew on board, lost contact over the city of Wuzhou. China's Civil Aviation Administration of China, CAAC, and the airline said. The flight departed Kunming at 1:11 p.m. Flight Radar 24 data showed and had been due to land in Guangzhou at 3:05 p.m. The plane, which Flight Radar 24 said was 6 years old, had been cruising at an altitude 29,100 feet at 2:20 p.m., just over 2 minutes and 15 seconds later. The next available data showed it had descended to 9,075 feet. In another 20 seconds, its last tracked altitude was 3,225 feet. Crashes during the cruise phase of flight are relatively rare, even though it accounts for the majority of flight time. Boeing found in a report last year that only 13% of fatal commercial accidents globally between 2011 and 2020 occurred during the cruise phase, whereas 28% of fatal accidents occurred on final approach and 26% on landing. Usually the plane is on autopilot during cruise stage. So it is very hard to fathom what happened, said Li Xiaojin, a Chinese aviation expert. From a technical point of view, something like this should not have happened. Online weather data showed partly cloudy conditions with good visibility in Wuzhou at the time of the crash. Chinese President Xi Jinping called for investigators to determine the cause of the crash as soon as possible and to ensure absolute aviation safety, state broadcaster CCTV reported. A Boeing spokesperson said, "We are aware of the initial media reports and are working to gather more information." Shares of Boeing Company were down 6.4% at $180.44. China and
Remember I told you that there's 64 squares on the chessboard, So, China is definitely involved in this whole, game that the people who hide behind blue doors and walk on black and white floors, are playing on the masses. You know what I mean? So you see that all countries are involved, even Russia, you know what I mean? So they had to make them.
We will just need to wait for more details to help shed light on the plausible cause of the accident, said Shakur Yusuf, head of Malaysia-based aviation consultancy Endow Analytics. Investigators will be looking to.
But when we know what the cause of these accidents are, when all of these things keep lining up, it's whoever keep playing with these fucking numbers. You know what I'm saying? So the powers that shouldn't be. The people that's in these groups and organizations that, have nefarious intentions, you know what I'm saying? They the ones that's doing these things. You know what I'm saying? They the ones that got the that sign off on this shit. You know what I'm saying? And they leaving their calling cards on it all the time. So, all of these things that, that we go over from time to time, you know what I mean? We solving crimes. It might not seem that way, but it's like, we keep looking past and listen to the service story, but you got to look behind the veil and see, what this, what's really going on here. You know what I'm saying? Because why they saying that they don't know what all this shit is, but just real simple shit. You know what I mean? Plane crash and gematria equals 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Now they said it was 100 and what they said was 123 passengers on the plane. So, how many times is a coincidence possible before it's mathematically impossible? You know what I'm saying? Like, Don't let these motherfuckers keep fooling you with the bullshit, man. You know what I mean? Doing this shit day in and day out. You know, speaking truth to power. You know what I mean? Trying to enlighten the masses. You know, to lift your emotional stake out of the news. You know what I'm saying? These devils is on here lying and shit all the time, all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and if you paid attention, they using the same numbers. You know what I'm saying? Over and over again. You know, like I just did the video the other day where they was talking about all the different 17-year-olds, that's getting murdered and shit like that. And I went over it many times that 17 is a sacrificial number. You know what I'm saying? So it's the number of sacrifice. You know what I mean? But I want to go over a video that I had played from yesterday, the other day, that was kind of messed up. So it should play better this time because I tested it out. You know what I'm saying? But I want to switch gears back to this Russia shit. Of course we gotta I'm gonna keep this one short today, but of course we gotta touch on some Russia shit, you know what I mean? Because this is a continuous situation going on that that they fooling the masses with, you know what I mean? So man, we got people I'm just run the beam footage, you know what I'm saying? Run that beam footage, man.
Для того, чтобы обмануть в очередной раз свою
I really if the war, if y'all got time to do it. Oh my God. Well, where the heck is selling it? The only heavy selling is us shelling out money for gas and food and electric. You know what I'm saying? And these motherfuckers is dancing and y'all see. Come on, man. What's going on here?
Soldiers, don't give yourselves the bruises. Men who despise you and slay you, who regiment your lives. Tell you what you do, what you think, what you feel. Who train you, tie you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men who have the love of humanity in your heart.
Yo, turn it off, man. Yo, turn it off, man. Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Shout out to the nigga with the red hat on, man.
For a short period of time this afternoon, they held. Quickly overtaking that area. We understand they are still under control. Thing that went down today. That was of huge importance. Russian paratroopers went into an airfield 15 miles outside of Kyiv.
Sure you did. Sure you did. Come on, man. What's up with the fake shit, man? You know what I'm saying? Is you gonna keep believing these motherfuckers? Or is you gonna get on to something better, man? I mean, I'm gonna just leave it there. We out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm gonna sign off with my man Freestyle right here. You know what I'm saying? We out of here, man.
I'm from a block with amphetamines and the quickest you just.
Oh, no, my fault.
The king's rule. We're to be falsified and taught in every school to disconnect from your culture like everything cool. See what happened, local self-esteem do. Got you praising the lip, niggas jump with recessive genes. I guess from that perspective, we are foes. I mean, you niggas was accepted, we was chose. You don't postulate what I genetically propose, and we don't vibrate, means we diametrically opposed. Yo. I hope this message electrifies. The year 11 just do privilege, do ethnic fire. If you ain't got scholarship on it, don't dare speak. That's gonna separate from sheep. It's like whipping on the back of a slave with bare feet. Historically black college universities class creek. It's in your favor. It's a sick ritualistic nature. Look, you think it's odd they slave you? If the slave master they serve, same God they gave you. Hold up. Look. You think it's odd they slave you? If the slave master they serve, the same God they gave you. 400 years later, and you hard, you stable, and you turn around and beg that same God to save. Look, words to the sunrise. Homie, save yourself. Everything else, get a thumb drive. The young life, the black wings, love misplaced, beaten, indoctrinated, disgraced, whipped, shacked, and mutilated. Put through degradation, disrespectfully viewed and hated. I mean, truly flagrant. Treated like shit in this fucking nation. In the 1850s, slaveholders came with this publication called How to Make the Ideal Slave. Now, dig division. Rule number one, unconditional submission. Keep them in place with authority. Rule number two is create inferiority. And slavery was the choice, but let's be real clear. Rule three, take away voice and instill fear. Hell yeah. I can see the passion in your eyes. I admire your perseverance for your passion and your grind. But rule number four is why the hat was our demise. Keep the slave interested in the master's enterprise. Because rule number five was the private education, information, recreation. Look. You listen to me, teacher. The problems of information. That's a psychological prison. Niggas have to come out. Because the slaves caught you. Man, hold up. That's a psychological prison. Niggas have yet to come out. If the slave master caught you learning, they cut your tongue out. Y'all hear me? Yes. If the slave master caught you learning, they cut your tongue out. The second 100 years was so thorough, so one did so many kids on drugs in this cold world.